However, I want to confirm if everybody is able to hear me very well before we proceed. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, this is the arrangement, how we're going to do it. In each 2 sessions, we are going to cover a paper, meaning today we are going to start on this paper. We shall finish it in another session. But today's session, we are going to focus on math element. And then the other sessions, we shall be focusing on management science, English, sentence correction, and other parts. But for today's class, since it's just our first day, let us first learn some few principles of math. And this question paper is for 2020, 2021 that we're going to use. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to project my digital screen at your end, meaning you should be able to see a real whiteboard at your end, even when you're not physical here, but at least you should be able to see. So once it displays from that end, you alert me that maybe it has come. Just shortly, I'm sending it. Okay. Okay, shortly. Okay. Are you able to see my screen from your end?
Yes.
Okay. So the first part of question that we are doing today, the question says that Mafari invested 12 million at Thessalonica Bank Limited, earning interest of 8% per annum for a period of 3 months. What will be the value in shillings of the investment on maturity? So when you look at such a question, that question is going to remind you about the principles of what we call simple interest and then principles of compound interest. Why? Because you are hearing about investment, meaning investment, that is the amount of money he invested. like the amount. Then when you look at the interest, meaning that is the interest rate per annum, meaning every year, but is managing it, is paying it for a period of 3 months. Now they're asking you what is going to be what's going to be the value of the investment on the maturity date. So before we proceed, we need to know some of the few principles that we need to know under simple interest. So simple interest, these are the principles you must know as we proceed. Okay. So simple interest is equal to principal times time times rate. But this rate has to be in percentage form. So you are going to get that the principal times time times rate. Again, from this formula, from this formula, we can get to know the formula for principal. Okay, so this is interest equal to principal times time times rate. Now, for us to be able to get the principal, of course, you just make a P the subject. So that implies that principal is basically equaling to simple interest. Okay, then divide it by the time times rate. Okay, how do you arrive to this? I keep this constant, then I divide everything this t times r, and also this side times r. So I remain with this. Still, from here, you can get the formula for time. Okay, the formula for time, meaning let this one remain here. So it will be time equaling to interest, then divided by principal times rate. So it's all about knowing this first formula, and then the rest will be okay. Now let's go back to our question. The question was saying that Mr. Mafari was investing his amount, or his principal was how much? Was 12 million. So you have 12 million. Then the interest rate was 8%. But the time it was only investing 3 months. And remember, this 8% we are talking about is per annum. Meaning, if the investments for only 3 months, the time will now be 3 out of 12 months, because the whole year has 12 months. So now you bring in your formula for simple interest, which is principal times time times rate. Now you have these others. You have the principal, in this case, is 12 million times the time, which is 3 out of 12, then times the rates. In this case, it is 8%, which is 8 out of 100, 8%. So here, the interest is how much? So when we compute from our calculators, if we compute from our calculator, I don't know if an individual from your end is having a calculator. So this is question 1. Okay. This by that. So this is 120. 12 by 1, 12 by 1. So you'll find that it gives us 240. Now, this 240 is just the interest. But the value now, the value of investment at maturity, it will be the principal that he invested plus the interest after the 3 months. Therefore, it will be 12 million. 12 million plus the 240 as the interest. Therefore, the total value of investment now will be 240,000. But what I wanted us to learn from this computation, we needed just to know which particular formula are we going to use. That is going to be very key at your end when you're in this paper. So Makerere, that topic was simple interest. Yes. So can I proceed? Someone can either take a picture, or if you have any question over that, you can ask, or else I can proceed. Our target is to cover at least 30 numbers, at least, because this section has about 30 numbers. All right, now we can proceed. Another part of the, so meaning part D was the ideal number. Okay. All right. Question 2. Let's read closely. Question 2. Now, question 2. Mukasa used a half of his inheritance to pay off the mortgage of his house. 3/5 of what was left to purchase a car. Now, in this case, how much was left of his total of $40,000 inheritance after these 2 expenditures? We are going to move slowly by slowly. Let's do the way the number is saying. Mukasa used a third of his inheritance to pay off the mortgage. So what we are going to do, what we need to find out, how much amount was left after paying for the mortgage. We need to first find out that. Yes. So we are going to take a third of $40,000, and then we see what was left. So we proceed. Now I'm rubbing off this because I believe each one of us has recorded down question 2. So here there are no particular formulas, but it is just understandability of the question, because as a manager, you are supposed to understand key issues in your workplace, and then you come up with solution. Now, this is question 2. So let us first look for amount left after paying mortgage. Amount left after paying mortgage. So what we are going to do, we are going to take a third of 40,000. So this one gives us 1333.33, like at first, okay? at first. Now, what was left is going to be 40,000 minus that, because that's what the question was saying. Now, when you get 40 minus 33 something, what was left will be now, when you compute from your calculator, it will give you something like a 60,000.6. So this was the amount that was left. Now we can go back and look at the question, what the question was saying. So we have just got answer, like you work it out the way the question is asking you. A third of his inheritance to pay off the mortgage on his house. So we have worked up to here. Now, where Andy starts from, it's a new sentence, which says that 3 out of 5 of what was left to purchase a car. Now, let's go on what was left. We take off 3 of this to purchase a car. And then we are going to find out how much was left after these 2 expenditures. Self-explanatory. When you're in this paper, don't rush. Many people keep rushing. I don't know why. You're not supposed to rush, but to go slowly. Now, you say amount spent on a car. It will be now 3 out of 5 times what was left after spending on paying mortgage. So it will be 3 out of 5 times 26, 66.6. So the amount here, it becomes 16,000 when you try to compute, or someone can confirm. Next time we shall carry a calculator so that we are able to follow. So the 2 expenditures are now 66.6 plus 16,000. So we need to know this total. Somebody with a calculator at that side, kindly add for us what is 26,666.6 plus 16,000. How much is that? Is there a good Samaritan having a calculator? I don't have mine closed. Yeah.
Plus 16.
Yes, plus 16.
It's 42,666.60.
Okay. It is 42.
42,666.6.
Okay. All right. So the question was asking that how much was left, isn't it? Now, how much was left of his total? How much was left of his total inheritance after the 2 expenditures. Then someone should also confirm the first figure of a third times the 40,000. How much does it give you?
13,333.3.
Okay, I think we have added up with a wrong number. We are supposed to get what was spent on mortgage, which was 13. We have used the wrong number. It's supposed to be 1333.
Yeah, 13,333.3.
0.3, then plus 16,000. And then we need to add these two. This one that was spent on mortgage, and then this one that was spent on a car. When we add them, it gives us how much?
29,000.
It is 20 what?
29.
I'm lost.
You're lost? Okay. This is what we are doing. This is what we're doing. The question was saying that, let us first study the question, that a third of his inheritance is to pay off the mortgage on his house. Meaning we're going to get a third, we multiply it by 40,000, which gives us 13,333. Yes.
Yeah.
Then they're also informing us that from what was left, we are going to take off 30/5 to purchase a car. Meaning we are going to say 3 out of 5 times 26 times 26. Okay, just a minute. 3 out of 5. Times 20 from what was left, which gave us 16,000. So these two expenditures, they are the ones we are supposed to add. Add this plus this. How much does it give us? The 13,333.3 plus 16,000. How much does it give us?
Plus 16.
Plus 16.
29,303.3. 16,000.
29,000.
1323 plus 16,000.
Yes.
29,333.3.
Now, this is the total expenditure. Now, we are going to get 40,000 minus this total expenditure, which is 29,333.3. How much does it give you? Okay. 29,333.3 minus 40. So it is giving us 10.66.7. So this is what is left after both expenditures taking place. Now, unfortunately, when you go to the answers, you will notice that the 10.66.7 is not there. So in that case, when the answer is not there, there are always two options. Either to circle what is closest or to just put it there. Yeah, those things happen.
You put the correct answer.
you put the correct answer, because that's the approach you have taken and it's the right one, but it doesn't add up. So you work it out and then you put the correct answer. Because if you choose the 8 is far away from 10,600. When you choose 12, it's also far away. So you just write the exact answer. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's go now to number 3. Number 3 is asking that salaries of Jimmy and Sammy are in the ratio of 2 to 3. I don't know when you last learned about the ratio. Now, if the salary of each is increased by 400, like each of their salary is increased by 400, the new ratio will be 40. The new ratio will be 40. 40 to 53. 40 to 53. Now, what is Sammy's salary? What is Sammy's salary? All right. So this is what we are going to do. We have seen the ratio is 2 to 3. Then if salary of each is increased, now we have not been given a figure of salary, but now we are going to create it. So this is what we are going to do over that. So I'm wrapping off this question 3. Now they have told us that salaries of Jimmy to Sammy is what? Is 2 to 3. But now they're giving us that after an increment, I think the increment was of 4,000, the ratio is going to change. It will be 40 to 57. Okay. Now, solution. This is what you will do. You will say that for the first place, let their salaries be, like now these salaries at first, let it be 2x to 3x. Because you don't know exact amount. Now let us do as the question is saying. So the question is saying that after these salaries you are seeing there, like for Jimmy, his salary is 2x, but after they have added on a 4,000, they have added on a 4,000, the ratio will now be 40. And the other one is 3x. If they add on 4,000, the ratio will change to be 57. So in this case, it's now easy to do what? It's now easy to manage. How?
Was it 4,000 or 400?
It was 4,000, but we can confirm. It was 4,000 when you add on each. Yes. So their ratio changes. So what does it imply? When we say 40 to 53, it's like get to like 40 to 50, 57. So in that case, we can do it in this form. Also to write these salaries and then the increments in form of what? In form of ratios can also work out. All right, so it's the same as saying 4x plus 4,000 divided by 3x plus 4,000, then equaling to 40 over 57. Like principle, all the rules of ratios state like that. Now from here, we can work out.
Andrew, what
I'm
you're
not
seeing on
the
your screen
board.
is the paper, not the formula. Thank you.
Yeah.
My apologies. So I thought I was in class. So this phrase here, when the ratio changes, 2x plus 4,000 is 40. Then 3x plus 4,000, it becomes 57. So it's a matter of now of getting their ratios. Like when you have all these, the same, like divide this, also here the ratio will be the same, because now the ratio is changing because of this. So what you're going to do here, you're just going to do what we call cross multiplication, and you look for the value of x. So in this case, it will be 57 into 2x plus 4,000, then equaling to 40 into 3x plus 4,000. Like you work it out so that you are able to solve the value of x. So when you try to compute it out, 57 times 2 becomes 114x plus, if you get 57 times 4,000, it gives you 228,000. When you get 40 times 3, it gives you 120x. When you get 40 times 4,000, it gives you 160,000. So we are going to collect the like terms together. Like terms together. So this side where we have 228,000, we can bring the 160 this side, equaling to 120x minus 114x. Like I have quite the like terms. The x's go the other side, and then there's the figure. This is 160, please. This 160 to come this side. So 228,000 minus 160. Which gives us 68,000, equaling to 120 minus 114.
6x.
114. This becomes the 6x. Confirm. 228. All right. So after doing that, through by 6. So 68,000 divided by 6. 57, okay.
11,333.3.
Okay. Let me check once again here. Jimmy and Charlie, 2 to 3. Okay. Then if the sale of each is increased by 4,000, the ratio changes to 40, 57. Okay, what is
Summary?
is? Oh, okay. All right. So the X value we are having over here is 11, 3, 3. But this is just the value of the value of just X that we were looking out for. Okay. Let me change my screen. So about Sammy, his salary was 3x. So that means it is 3 times 1, 1, 3, 3. 3 times 1, 1, 3, 3. 68,000 divided by 6. 0.3. 3 times 1, 1, 3, 3, and 3. So the salary we are getting here is 33,999.9. So in short, it is 34. Okay. I don't know if someone has understood. We round it off.
Okay.
This is for who?
Sammy.
This is Sammy, but not with an increment. Not with what? With an increment. But what was his increment from our first part? Increment, they said we have to add on what?
4,000.
4,000.
We have to add on 4,000. Therefore, the final answer will be 30 what? 38,000. Let us see if it's there. Then we come back here and we try to look at it well and see. Yeah, I think we have the 38,000 as letter D. So let us look at it well for the last time and see what. So at first we said you first write them the way they are. As you write them the way they are, then whatever they say in the question that an increment means an addition. So you also add. Then when they say after the increment, you should also note for us, like the ratio is changing. At first it was 2 to 3, now it is 40, 53. So you also do the same. Then the principles of ratio says that if these are equal to this, so the same as dividing them. So it's what we have done here. Then we collect the like terms, the x's to be on different side, and then the real values. Then we first get the value of x, but Sammy was 3x at first. So you multiply this value by 3. Then the increment was 400. Now what I need to tell you about this game math what do? They bring an old paper and they give you. That's why our target, we want to do at least 4 or 5 papers. Because I remember the paper I did in 2020, it's the same paper people in 2021, the same paper people did exactly, no changing. So sometimes chances are higher that they can bring back the same paper. So me, after teaching you, your responsibility as a candidate is to go through the same numbers almost in the same way. And then you see, are you able to do them even without our guidance? Now with that, allow me, we proceed to question number 4. Number 4. Yeah, I'm wrapping off this. Question number 4 says that what is the value, like in this paper, don't rush, read slowly. What is the value of an investment of 450,000 for a period of 5 years at an interest rate of 5% per annum, compounded annually? Now, the moment you hear things like a compounded annually, then that one is no longer simple interest. It has now turned into compound what? Compound interest. Now that we have knowledge already on simple interest, I'm now going to introduce the formulas you need about compound interest. Somebody may ask, what is compound interest? Compound interest is that interest calculated on the initial principle, and also on the accumulated interest from the previous periods, meaning it's like compounded like twice. But you may not know all the details. What you need to know as a candidate is a formula to apply. So henceforth, your formula for compound interest, remember our question 1 was about simple interest. Now for compound interest, it will always be equal to A into P into 1 plus R over N power NT. I'm going to explain what these ones mean, because by the time you're doing the paper, teachers expect you to know all these. A means final amount, or in bracket future value. Then the P is the principal amount. What is the principal amount? Now for principal amount, we are referring to initial investment. How about R? R for rate, it's basically the annual rate. The annual rate, like annual interest rate. Annual interest rate. Okay. Annual interest rate, it can be like in form of percentages. Now T, they are basically years, time, like a time, the years, the period. Now that you have skills already, can we now look at the question? So that formula.
N?
Yes, please.
How about N?
N, the number of times. Number of times. So this T is years, then N number of times. Times how? They'll tell you compounded semi-annually, compounded quarterly, compounded annually, 1, semi-annually 2, quarterly 4. Like that's what you mean by T. All right. Now that we have understood all that, our responsibility is now just going to be so easy. We are going to apply question. Our question says what? Our question says that what is the value of an investment? The value of an investment of 450,000, 4,500 dollars over a period of 5 years. Interest of 5% per annum, compounded annually. Compounded annually. Now, we are using the same formula, just like I've given you. So you are going to say, remember amount, the value this person is talking about the future amount. So A is equal to P into 1 plus R over N power NT. Let's try to fill it in. In this case, the people, is that true that you are unable to hear me?
No,
Yeah,
we can't.
I think for a bit I lost you as well.
So we are looking at compound interest. I don't know, that's where maybe where you left us. But we are looking at now question number 4. It's about compound interest. Maybe catch up from here. It's this number 4. What value of an investment of $4,500 for a period of 5 years at an interest rate of 5% per annum, compounded annually? I have told your colleagues that for this kind of questioning, we are not going to use simple interest, but we are going to use compound interest. Now, in that case, I have introduced a formula here, which is future value, which is equal to P into 1 plus R over N, closing the bracket, per N over N times T. I have told you that A is basically the future value or the final amount. Then the P is basically the principal amount. Then R is the interest, N number of times, T basically the number of period elapsed. So from the question that has been given to you, you will notice that when you have this formula, I don't know if you're able to see my pen moving, the principal or the initial amount, I prefer calling it the initial amount, is 4,500 into 1 plus the rate was
5. It was 5%.
Good. The rate was 5%. Now 5%, if you try to write it in decimal, it will be 0.05. Over N, number of times, 1. Good. Then N, it is 1, but the time is 5, I think.
Yes.
We can confirm. How many years are we dealing with? We are dealing with 5 years. So it will be 1 times 5, bracket like that. So this will be the same as 4,500 into 1 plus 0.05 power 5. This is the same as 4,500 into 1.05 power 5. So from your calculator, I don't know who is having a calculator which can put powers.
How do you do it?
There is
There is an arrow that faces upwards.
Yes.
By
R.
now,
You,
be able to know how to compute, how to use what?
scientifically.
The scientific calculators. So you put brackets 1.05 close bracket, then the power
On the other function.
I think they're in this. They're not here.
1.05 close bracket.
I think someone has given us an answer.
No, they were asking.
No, I'm just following.
Now someone was asking, why is N1? Now, let me repeat. For compound interest, we are looking at the number of times the interest is changing. When they say per annum or compounded once, it's 1. Compounded semi-annually, that is 2. Compounded quarterly, that is 4. Now, since it is just compounded once or 1, like the question is saying, compounded annually meaning once, 1 mulundi gumu, in vernacular. Yes. All right.
Andrew, sorry to take you back. Can you please just go back to the question? I want to understand it in word form before the math comes in. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can read. What is the value of the uninvestment? Meaning that investment they're talking about the initial investment, like the initial money. It's the P. The value, like now, the initial is 4,500 for a period of what? A period T of 5 years. Interest of 5%. But now if it is 5%, it turns into 0.05 per annum, compounded annually. Now, annually meaning once a year. But if they had said compounded semi-annually, we would use twice, 2. So there, can we proceed now?
No, Andrew. I think my challenge is understanding compounded, because I thought compounded is where the value keeps increasing. The value keeps increasing depending on the amount that is invested on the account, as in on a daily basis or something. So I think I'm getting lost on the word compounded.
Okay, I can give another chance to someone on this call who understand differently compounded to share with us how you understand. In fact, our discussions be like this. Yes.
So usually when we are doing compound interest, they either count semi-annually, annually, or quarterly. And should I use standards? When they say semi, you automatically know that your N will be 2 because they have divided the year into 2. Like they are saying, our interest will be, we will charge someone interest twice in a year, semi-annually, like the first half and the second half of the year. When they say annually, it means it will be once. Like you'll charge the principal once and for all. There is no saying that now the quarter is done, now you get. So it's once. Then when they say quarterly, it means we are dividing our year into 4 equal months. Sorry, 4 equal segments or whatever. Yeah. That means every quarter we charge particular interest. Yes. So that means you know that your N is 4, that we are charging our interest 4 times in a year. So when it's semi, it's just 2. When it's annually, it's
Annually,
1.
it's once a year. Okay.
Yes. Then quarterly,
Yes.
it's 4.
I think you've got it.
I've understood that part, Andrew. So
Okay.
let me clarify. I'm sorry that I'm wasting time on this, but I need to understand before I leave it.
It's okay.
When the way she was explaining, if they say they've compounded your interest and quarterly, or it is times 4 or whatever. So if she was talking as if probably I've taken a loan and they are going to compound that interest maybe in a quarter. But this, we are talking about an investment. For instance, if I've bought bonds in Bank of Uganda and they are giving me interest, the annual interest of maybe 10%, depending on what I've negotiated, and I'm getting 10% on that bond of the whichever amount. Maybe I've bought bonds worth 20 million for a period of 3 years, and they are giving me an interest of 10% per year. Okay, because we're not
Yes.
talking about investment, not like loan things. They're giving me 10% per year. What if they were giving me that 10%? What if they were paying me interest twice a year? How would you compound that? Would it be a different interest? Would it be 5%, 5%, or would it be 10% times 2? You get it? I'm trying to get like explain it to me in a layman person, like in a normal investment thing. Don't put formulas, like the way someone would understand it without being a mathematician.
Okay.
Like meaning that percentage will be added to you like twice. Like it's like
So
giving
the percentage, if for instance, if it was like twice a year or by annually, semi-annually, yeah, would it be that they are giving me 10% every 6 months?
Yes. If
Yes.
it means that
Would that mean that in a year they are giving me 20%?
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it will be like that if it's the company's policy.
No, if I'm saying what if the question had maybe semi-annually and it's 5% semi-annually, will it be that in a year it would be 10%, 5% every 6 months?
Ordinarily, yes.
It's still a rate but you're going to get it semi. But when you look at our formula, it says rate divide by that compound interest that is going to apply. That means if the maybe where you've bought your bonds or what, they have said that you're getting 10%. So they are going to 10%.
No, let's say let it be not be annually, because in case the question comes and it is semi-annually, 5% semi-annually, compounded semi-annually, would it be that it is 5% every 6 months, making it 10% for 12 months?
It will be it will be more.
No, it will be a division. It will be now 2.5
every 6 months. Oh,
yes.
thank you so much. Now I've understood it. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Carly. Now, after doing that, we can now compute. I don't know. Is there an individual who has computed that on a scientific calculator? Or we can do it here. So that, what is our power here? Okay. I think my calculator also doesn't have a power.
How does it look like so that I can find it here?
It's like a curve, but pointing a letter V, but pointing down. Like this. It's like an icon like that.
Okay, I've seen something here. But after putting it has brought that real inverted V on the screen.
No, and when you're first put it in the bracket. When you put it in a bracket, that answer.
It is 1.05 brackets, then I've put that inverted V.
Then you put the power, after inverted V, then you put 5. Yes.
Okay. Then I say equals.
Yes, then you say equals.
I put the whole. So I say, okay, let me start afresh. It's 4,500
No, even though you first deal with the bracket,
Oh, I
you
first
cannot.
deal with the bracket. Okay.
Yes.
Bracket 1.05. Then I close the bracket.
You close the bracket, you put it that curvy, then
With the
5.
inverted V, 5 equals to 1.276.
Now,
so
you multiply it by 4,500
times 4.5. So it's 5,743.26 something.
So it is
574 3.267.
Correct. So we come now and find out that value. 507. Okay, so when it happens like that, we have agreed that you're going to come and look for the closest or the nearest. In this case, the closest is B, letter B. 5702.82. Because you notice that maybe the examiner used a table, what we call examination table, and now for us we're using a calculator. Yeah. Okay.
Do I have a question?
Yes, ask.
So when do you determine? Because I think it was number
1.
2 or number 1, where
Number
we
1.
got an answer that wasn't among the objectives that were given, and you told us that there you add it. But now in this instance,
like you put it there when you don't have a closest value. That's what we said. But when the closest value is there, still you put it. But even still here, you can write it, but the appropriate one now will be part B, because for it it is so close. But still, even here you can write, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Kali, let's get some ideas on 5. Now on 5, they're telling us that the ratio between length and breadth of a rectangular park is 3 to 2. 3 to 2. If a man cycling along the boundary of the park at a speed of 12 kilometers completes 1 round in 8 minutes, then the area of the park in square meters is. Now, most campuses don't want such questions. But now that we are in the process of learning, let me just show you a hint. You try to understand some few skills and over practice this number like this, because I already said it. So some people, they just give up. They're like, me, I don't do those V numbers. Don't mention that word, especially when you still have time to plan. So this number can be done. Let me try to simplify it. So if a man cycling along the boundary, now let me remind you, when they say along the boundary of the park, they are referring to a perimeter, because a perimeter is that total distance of the whole fence we are talking about. Perimeter lines along the boundary. In this case, because they have told us it is rectangular in nature. This is question number 5. So, movement along. This is width, length, width. Now, movement along. So, in this case, therefore, perimeter, it is equaling to the distance traveled in 8 minutes. perimeter is the distance traveled in 8 minutes according to the question. Because the question is saying that he completes. He says that the ratio between the length and the breadth of a rectangular park is 50. If a man cycling along the park at a speed of this, even we have been given the speed, we've been given the time, we have almost everything. So let's continue summarizing. We shall get there. So we need also the distance is equal to the distance traveled in 80 meters. So this is equivalent to the perimeter, meaning now we need to know what is distance. Distance is always equaling to speed times time. Is equal to speed times time. Now, we ask ourselves a question. Do we know the speed? When we got our question, the speed is 12 kilometers
per
hour. Good. And then the other one is 8 kilometers. But now the other one it is in square meters. Okay, we are going to find a way how to compress. So after that, it means that this one is 12 kilometers per hour times the time. Remember the time, it is in 8
minutes.
8 minutes. But what we need to do, we need to convert this one. We need to have, remember our distance has to be, our distance in this case has to be in meters, because we have square meters. When you look at the question, they said the area of a park in square meters, or else we can leave it and you can change it later. We first proceed to kilometers and maybe we can change it later, but it's better we change it immediately to meters so that we move smoothly. So let us follow. So this is, when we change this one kilometers into whatever, it will now become 12,000. 12,000. Remember, it is per hour. And we want to change this one in 2 minutes and also this one in 2 minutes. So it will be 12,000 over 60 minutes. Okay. Times 8, like it's 8 over 60 minutes, because we want to get, we want to remove the what? We want it to be in terms of an hour. So we get 12,000 divided by 60, then times 8. How much does it give us?
16,000. Sorry, 1,600.
1,600.
1,600 as the distance. See? Okay. Now, after doing that.
Excuse me?
Yes, please.
Yes, the 12,000 over 60 times 8. I'm lost kind of there.
I was supposed to put it here because these are minutes and we need to change them to hours.
Into hours, yes.
Sorry about that. Now we go back to our question. The question is saying that what is the length, what is the width? Listen, the ratio between the length and the breadth is 3:2. What does it imply? It means that the length is 3 times, the width is twice times. So what are you going to do? What you are going to do now, we shall say that as per question, the length, because now we don't know even the length value. So that the length, let it be like a 3x, and then the width to be 2x, because now we don't know. Now they told us something about perimeter. Now for perimeter, we know it is so the distance here, it is a 3x, here it is 2x. Now, if you want perimeter, this part here, perimeter, remember perimeter is the movement along all of it, meaning you're going to add 2x plus 3x plus L. Okay, like this plus this plus this plus this. So that's the same as 2x plus 3x plus 2x plus 3x. Like I'm looking at the distance of the perimeter. Therefore, the perimeter that we're having here is how much?
10x.
It is 10x. This is the perimeter. Now I want to ask you a question. Do you know the perimeter value? Do you know the perimeter value? Yes.
Yes.
Do we know the distance?
Yes.
Do you know the distance? Yes.
Yeah.
So when I do perimeter is equal to distance, according to the question, and I put here 10x equal to the distance here, it is 1,600 meters. That means that a 1x or like the x value
60.
is 160. Now, when I have that, am I able to look for the length? And am I able to look for the width?
Yes.
Yes.
So length is a 3x. So that is 3 times 160. Somebody who can give me an answer there. Then for width, yes, please.
480.
480.
Great. Then here it is 2x, which is 2 times 160. How much is that?
20. 320.
It is 320. Now I'm asking you a question. Are you able to look for the area? And what's the area of a triangle? It's always given by what?
Length times width.
Length times the width. Do you have the length?
Yes.
Do you have the width?
Yes.
When you multiply that, how much does it give us?
1,500 and 1,500.
Well, like that. 100.
Hold on.
153,600.
Is everybody having that value? Somebody confirm so that we are consistent.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. All right. Then let's look at the question once again. Now, don't you see that you never needed to give up? You just needed to know step by step and to get to know how to do that number. Now, how are you going to manage? By practicing again and again these numbers so that you be familiar. So part B now becomes our appropriate answer. Okay, so let me put back for those that are taking screenshots, that are writing down. Then we plan to proceed to question 6. Okay. Now let's proceed to question 6. They are also giving us some question that is so good for us to train ourselves. Now, question 6. Please note that after this call, each one of you who has attended, just send me a message and then tell me to provide you with the question and some of the possible answers we have got. Those questions, we don't put them in a group so that people don't get free things. They should also struggle. So after this call, you just send me a message and then I send you the items, because
Okay.
they are protected and they're not supposed to go out. But first we get them by law, like with a lot of vigor, like we get them to the JVD. So that's after this, you just send me a message and then I send you the materials. That's what we do for the whole program. After studying, just ask, I need this, I attended, then I just send you. Okay, let's look at question 6. If a person walks at 14 kilometers per hour instead of 10 kilometers, even campuses don't want those words, instead. If a person walks 14 kilometers per hour instead of 10 kilometers per hour, he would have walked 20 kilometers more. The actual distance traveled by him is, and people are like, this one is hard. It's not. We are now going to try out. We see how best we can manage it. Okay. All right. So this is what we are going to do to approach this number. Another thing, don't lose hope. Anytime you see a number sounds a bit hard, just give it time. You go through it or even follow. I'm sure by a few minutes you will be able to handle. All right. So we go back to the question a bit. The question was asking that the actual distance traveled. Okay, if a person walks 14 kilometers per hour, then instead of 10 kilometers, meaning that is speed. Speed is speed. Then the 20 kilometers, it is distance. So the question is, do we know even the time taken? We don't know. So we are going to recall our formulas that we already know. Formulas like what? Solution. Now, the word solution is a motivator, whether you know the number or you don't know the number, or the moment you write it in a paper, it motivates you, like to proceed. So speed is equal to distance.
What if you're sure that you do not know?
No, like you write it there, but by the time you write it, there is a way. It's like a magic. Like answers start downloading by themselves. All right. So we know that we have the speed. We have several speeds, isn't it? We have several distances, but you don't have anything like time. So let time be x. What you don't know, you let it to be x in hours, because we saw it was kilometers per hour in the two speeds that were given us. The first speed was about 14 kilometers per hour, and then the other one, instead of, it was 20 kilometers per hour. That's where I'm picking the time, our time to be that. Now, after telling us that, now from the question, we need to know the difference of the speed taken the difference, if you can recall, he traveled 14 instead of 20. What does it mean? Was it 40 instead of?
It was 10.
It was 10.
Not
Sorry
20.
about that. It was 10. What does it mean? Meaning, maybe he did what? Like instead of 14, he traveled this. So, he traveled that. Meaning, okay, just a minute. Let me first confirm something. So 14 kilometers per hour. Let me first switch off some people here. Okay. So the question is saying that 14 kilometers per hour and then 10 kilometers per hour. So in this case, we need to know the time. Okay. Now, for us to be able to know that time is what this person would have used to move 20 kilometers. So in this case, what do I mean? If we have said that let time be x, what does it imply? It implies that it it is 14x, like 14 time, okay, minus the 10 time. It has to give us 20 kilometers that were walked. They would have, meaning instead of 10 walked, 14. Okay, let me first read, then I can maybe put some more light so that it's a bit easier. So this will give us 4x as the time, which is equivalent to 20 kilometers. Well, you're looking for the hours spent. So through by 4. So our time is 5 hours. Now, after understanding the 5 hours, remember the actual speed. Yeah, like there would be speed. The actual speed was how much? The actual speed was 10 kilometers per hour. That was the actual that was planned. Okay, but we know after understanding the speed, we need also to know that we need to know what distance was it supposed to be. Remember, distance is equal to speed times time. If we have the speed already as 10 kilometers per hour, what was our time? Our time is 5. So that one gives us 50 kilometers. Who is lost? I re-echo a bit.
I am.
Okay, we can go slowly a bit. I am repeating it somehow. If a person, now when they say instead of, meaning the actual kilometers that were supposed to be moved at 10 kilometers per hour, that's the actual speed that it was. If a person walks for 10 kilometers, instead of, he would have walked 10 kilometers more. Meaning these 20 kilometers are equivalent to the difference, because now the difference, it is that extra of 4. Remember, instead of 10, he walked 14. Then he would have walked 20 kilometers more. Now, the actual distance traveled by him is, meaning they wanted us to find out what is the distance of moving with the speed of 10 kilometers, because that was the actual speed. So the first question, the first thing is first understand the actual speed that was traveled. Now this one, the 14, is just an extra. The 14 is just trying to give us how much time was spent between those two speeds. So it's a matter of considering 14 minus 10. The difference is the time spent. And that's what enables us to look for the actual distance. I don't know who has understood it in a different way so that you can share with us. Is there any other person who has understood it in a different way?
Can I try?
Yes, please.
So actually this question wants us to find that actual distance traveled. Because
Yes.
when you read the statement, they say if a person walks 14 kilometers per hour instead of 10. So initially, let's say if they say walking from, let's say Kampala to, let's say Nakawa takes you 10 kilometers per hour. This person traveled at a distance of 14 kilometers per hour at a speed of 14 kilometers per hour instead of 10. So now they want to find out if the person had used that 10 kilometers per hour, the speed of 10 kilometers per hour, what distance were they going to cover?
Good.
And now they're telling us that if he had walked, he would have walked 20 kilometers more. That if the person traveled at the actual 10 instead of the 14 that they used, they would have covered 20 more kilometers. So then they tell us, the question now wants us to find out the actual distance traveled by him, like with the 10, because they tell us that you're supposed to travel, a person walked at 14, but you're supposed to use 10. So they covered 20 more kilometers because of the 14. But now what's the actual if they had used 10 kilometers per hour that were targeted? So remember,
may I
yes,
I don't know if I've understood it in a wrong way, but the way I've understood it is using the analogy of Nakawa, Kampala to Nakawa. Using that analogy, they are saying that this person started out and used 10 kilometers per hour to go to a particular place. But if he had if he had walked at 14 kilometers per hour, he would have gone further than where he stopped, right? Isn't that what they are saying? So meaning from where he started from to where he went, he used 10 kilometers. He was walking at 10 kilometers per hour. You get that means that, but if he had decided to use 14, an extra 20 kilometers. So if he had decided to use 14 and he was going from Kampala to Nakawa, but he decided to use 14 instead of the 10 he used, he would have gone past Nakawa to some other distance, 20 kilometers away, some other place 20 kilometers away from Nakawa if he had used 14. Isn't that the question?
Yes.
But then they're saying, okay, so since he used 10 kilometers per hour, where did he go? What's the distance he moved? Because that is the speed he actually moved at 10 kilometers per hour.
Meaning
right?
left out the 20 more that he would have traveled.
Yeah, if he had used 14 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're supposed to find that distance that he moved, that distance that he covered the 14 kilometers per hour. It could have been from Kampala to Nakawa. Maybe that is what he traveled in for using 10 kilometers. But if he had decided to move faster at 14 kilometers per hour, he would have probably gone up to past Chambogo or something. Maybe.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how I've understood it.
Carly, thank you for that input. I request that we proceed. to question number 7. And question number 7 is saying that Daniel invests of
And
12.
Andrew, sorry, before we go, can you take us to the solution so we can screenshot yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Andrew, I'm sorry to take you back a bit, but how do we consider X to be in hours? Why do we consider X to be in time, yet we are making a difference in speeds?
Now, you see, it's 14 kilometers per hour, 10 kilometers per hour. Going back to our formula for time. Time is given by what? By speed. Just a minute.
Speed divided by distance.
It's the distance divided by speed, isn't it? The time. So now in this case, you can't use even minutes because it was already showing per kilowatt, per kilometers. I don't know how I can explain it to you, but me are seeing the distance automatic, and it's just a difference. I need to just know the time that was covered in between the two distances, or there would have been the two distances. I don't know how I can bring it out. Maybe someone on the call can try to clarify more. Or what other way could we bring out the time element?
And maybe if Topher could ask his question again.
We go back to the question again. It's there. If a person walks at 14 kilometers per hour instead of 10 kilometers per hour, if he wants to walk 10 kilometers more, the actual distance traveled by him is, but we know that distance is always equal to speed times time. Now, if we have distance equaling to speed times time, we have two speeds already. The two speeds, the longer one and then the shorter one that was supposed to be 4. But now we do not have that. I don't know how I can bring it out, but in my head, I just understand it. I don't know who can put some value on it so that it becomes much more clear than cramming it.
Already the speed was given to us in kilometers per hour. That means the time we get is supposed to be in hours. Time in minutes, yet our speed was computed in kilometers per hour. That means the time that we find, that's why our X is in hours, because we are comparing hours, all those things of distance, speed, and time, but in kilometers per hour. I don't know if it helps.
Let me actually also ask along that line.
Yes.
So when we did the calculation and we got X being 5 hours, did that mean that the time this person spent moving at that extra 4 kilometers was 5 hours?
Yes, 5 hours more.
In that extra, the time he moved for 4 kilometers, he would have moved for 4 kilometers, would have been 5 hours, right? Is it what that means?
Yes, that's what it means.
Okay. Because if it is like that, then I've understood it in that way. Like I don't know also how I've understood it, but I understand it like that.
Members, you don't need to worry. We still have other subsequent meetings. We shall still make sure we understand it much more better. Now, let's try to get some ideas now on question 7. Question 7 says that Daniel invests part of $12,000 in 12% stock. At 120. At 120. Then, rather, I beg your pardon. Daniel invests part of $12,000 in 12% stock at 120. Then the remainder 15% stock at 120 or 125. Now, if his total dividends per annum, is 1,360, how much does he invest? How much does he invest in a 12% stock at 120? But I can't teach stocks today because people are just going to give up. I'm going to organize a day to come in basically for stocks. It requires like 30 minutes time, and I don't want people to give up. There are so many issues you need to know about stocks. This one, let's put a star on 7. It will come into subsequent classes. Someone will have to remind me along the way. Otherwise, if we start it, it's going to take like 30, 40 minutes. It's a long topic. So we can't handle stocks today on the first day. People will start saying the second and Saturday day of paper, I can't waste my money. If those are the numbers, that I don't want that to comment. So allow me first keep it today. We first gain momentum, and then I can bring it in subsequent classes. That arrangement okay? Like, I'm not saying that the number is too much hard, but it is hard. But I want to get it its time, like too much time, not like today. So allow me, we first keep it. That 7th number, we go to 8. We shall get it along the way. Okay. Now, 8. If $782 is divided into 3 parts. Okay. If 782 is divided into 3 parts, proportional. You've been given a half, 2/3, 3/4. Then the first part is, all right. So let's put it down on paper. So they are telling us that this value, this is question 8, this value 782, if it is in positions of a half, 2/3, and then 3/4. So the question is saying that then the first part is So when you look at such a number, your responsibility now, they want the value of this. Okay. Now, when they tell you what's the value of this first position, in short, is like giving you these ratios. These ones are what? Those ones are ratios. So if they are ratios, what are we supposed to do? you can choose to first add them. You can write this one in two ratios. I don't know which ratios we can use. So it's like 1 to 2, 1 to 2 over 3, then to 3 over 4. So you can't just get a half times this. No, you have to get the ratios of this, meaning it will be 1 over 2 divided by the total of all of them. The total of all of them. It's like ratios. It's like when you're given 2 to 3 to 4. Now they ask you, how much will 2 get? Now this one is an open question. Everybody will get it right. Meaning it is just 2 over the total of 2 plus 3 plus 4. Maybe times what they want you to multiply with. So it's the same thing we are going to do here. That if they want this position here, it is this divided by the whole total of a half plus 2 over 3 plus 3 over 4. The answer we shall get shall multiply by 7, 20. Simple as that. So if you want, you can put this one into decimals, but I think decimals will disturb someone. So what we can do, we can first work out the downer part maybe. For the downer part, I think we just need the LCM. We need to get the LCM of 2, of 3, of 4.
12.
I think that's 12. 12 divided by 2, it is a 6. 6 times 1, it is a 6 plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 12 divided by 4 is a 3. 3 times 3
9.
is 9. Okay. So 6 plus 8 plus 9, how much is that?
23.
That is 23 out of 12. So this one is just the downer part only. So in short, it is now a half divided by 23 out of 12. It is a half divided by 23 out of 12. So this is the same as 1 out of 2 times 12 over 23 when we are changing it out. I don't know if you know that if it is a half divided by 23 out of 12, it changes to this. Like this one remains, and then this one which is down goes up, which is up goes down. It's what I have done here. So by 2, 1 by 2, 6. So it is 6 over 23. So 6 over 23 of 782. What is the answer? Somebody give us the answer. It is 204. So let's see, do we have 204 among our solutions? Yeah, I think we have it. It is part D. All right.
Andrew, I have a question, Andrew.
Yes,
how did you get 12?
Hey, this is how we got it. Now, we
That
first
12
arrange these ones in form of ratios.
Yes.
Then we took this over the whole total of all of these. Now, the denominator, we just looked at body mass bracket. So we have looked at the lowest common factor.
Of the 3.
The LCM. Do you remember LCM in your primary?
Yes.
Now it is coming back for MBA, Masters in Business Administration. So it is only 12 a lowest value that can be divisible, that
by
can
all the
divide
By all the three figures.
by
and
all the
divide
three
the three
figures below.
figures below without a
Using
reminder.
remainder.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. We are about to get live.
Andrew, before we leave the solution,
Yes.
I'm just asking for a small request. That 12, is it possible for you to help me put a bracket to show it is an LCM? Just to remind me when I'm revising it.
Like this?
No. Just like you see where 12 is, in bracket you
Yes.
just put LCM, just to as a reminder of where the 12 came from.
Like that.
Yes, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Carly. Now my responsibility of today is to make people like start the momentum of being in the moods of doing the paper. Now, when the shortlist is out, they are going to give people only 4 or even 5 days to prepare. Now, for you are not going to be in that caveat of looking for Andrew, looking for people take you through. For you are going to be safer, because usually the date for doing this paper is already the first week of July when you look at all the years. So I want us from today we start cutting numbers, like you start preparing in advance. So that was a major discussion of starting this week than waiting for the whatever. And then you don't need to worry. If you know you submitted correct documents, you are going to be shortlisted. They don't look at any other factor apart from collect documents. Those things of references, what that is statistics purposes. So don't lose any hope. All right. Now let's learn question 9, because we have like an hour to go. Question 9 is for a 9-week period, a woman working 5 days per week and $454.5. What are her earnings per day? Again, campuses don't want those questions. But today, we are going to love those questions. How? We are going to list it down, put it down, and then we start solving it. So the other way to gain momentum or even to love math, like I've said, first summarize it. Put a motivator factor. When you come to MBA, you learn about Herzberg theory of motivator. Now, they have told you that she earned 454.50 over 9 weeks. Put it down. And what was he doing? He was working for 5 days. So we say working for 5 days. All right. Now, first of all, we need to calculate the total number of days she worked for. That is very important, because if she earned 454.50 over 9
weeks, working
weeks,
for 5 days.
Working for 5 days. So it is paramount that we first calculate the total number of days. So total number of days is now going to be very easy. We shall get the 9 weeks, multiply them by the 5 days per what?
5.
It's 5 days per week.
Per week.
That one now gives us 45 what? 45
days.
45 days. Now, next we are going to calculate her earnings per day. earnings per what? Per day. Remember, she earned 4,540. Now, what are you going to do next? We are going to divide by the total number of days. How much does it give us? A volunteer with a calculator.
10.1.
Good. $10.1. Do we have 10.1? We check.
Per day, 456 minus.
I think we have what? We have it. It is a C. 10.1. So that is how we are supposed to do it.
These things, cause I'm freaking.
That's what we are supposed to do. Unless you have a special question, but I think that one needed just to get to understand few things and then work it out. Can we proceed? All right. Let's look at let's look at 11. 11 says, is it 11 or 10? We're supposed to look at 10. Okay. Let me get 10. Okay. So for 10, we've been told that out of 30 tickets, see, for the state soccer championship game, a quarter were sold at that. Then a quarter were sold at $3,000, whereas a third was sold at $2.5, and then the rest was sold at $1.25. Then the question is, how many tickets were sold at $1.25? So that is the question we have over there. Okay. Let's start it. So the question was saying that 30,000 tickets. So we have a list of 30,000 tickets. And among these 30,000 tickets, a quarter are being sold for 3,000 US dollars, a third at $2.5, and then the rest at
I think
1.25.
I'm not seeing the board.
You're not seeing
If
the
you're
board.
writing anything. It's just only me.
Okay. Yeah. Let me fetch it. Okay. So the rest at $1.25.
I can see.
Now the question is, how many tickets were sold at $1.25? That's the kind of question we have now. Okay, let's start. So in the first step, let us work out the tickets that were sold out at a quarter, and then we see how much was remaining. So when working it out, you just get a quarter. Okay. We shall wait a minute. Sold out at that. Okay. A third at that. A quarter at that. Okay. Okay. This one, let's also put a star on it. We shall come back for it. It's a bit longer. So we had, it was number 8? I think it was 7. And then number, it's longer. It's going to take like 30 minutes. And then question number 10. I'll handle it. Okay. Let's look at part 11, question 11. I'll handle number 10 in subsequent classes to come. Number 11, Locodo Limited has total assets. Has total assets.
Andrew, we are not seeing the question.
Lukodo Limited. I'll come back for number 10. It's a bit longer. I don't want people to lose hope today. Number 11, Lukodio Limited has total assets of 6 million and total liabilities of 4,500,000 and 100 shares. But book value, its book value per share is okay. So for those that did accounting, remember we have what we call assets and liabilities. So we need to know equity even before getting to know the book values. So in this case, what are we going to do? In this case, we're just going to remember some few skills that we did in our commerce. And in commerce, I'm very sure your teacher told you that total equity is always equaling to total assets minus total liabilities. But from the question we have, already we were given the assets and the liabilities. In this case, the assets are 6 million. Then the liabilities are 4,500,000. Therefore, the total equity is 1,500 equity. Now, even though you've never been in those things of shares, what, don't worry. This one is easier for you even to recall. Now, how do we get book value? Book value per share. Now, book value per share, henceforth, get to know that it's always total equity divided by the number of shares. Those who will come and specialize in finance, you learn more about this. But since it's just a GMAT, get to know that always the book value is total equity. This total equity you have got over here, and then divided by the book, the number of shares. But when you go back to the number of shares, the number of shares are 100,000. Good. So that implies that it's 1,500 divided by 100 shares. Now, the book value in this case, it's just $15. $15. All right. We can proceed. So the issue here was to know the formula for total equity, then the formula for book value, and then you manage. Okay. Let's now get some skills also. Let's learn some skills on question 12. So there the answer, I think it was A. Now for question 12, the price of an item decreased by 20% of 200. Then later the price decreased again from 200 to 150 to 150. What is the percentage of decrease from the original to the final? From the original to the final. All right. So let us work out that. They're telling us that the price of an item decreased by 20% of 200. Now, then later, the price decreased again from 200 to 150. What is the percentage decrease from original to final? It was a bit confusing, but let us manage it. So, they're telling us that at like this, the price of an item decreased by 20% to 200. What does it imply? It implies that now we need to know the original. If it decreased by 20% to 200, we need to do something to get to know the original what? The original price. How are we going to get to the original price? The original price will be getting 200 plus 20% of 200. There we shall get the what? Hope I'm interpreting it well. No. Decreased by 20%.
Andrew, could it be that it will be maybe $200 plus 20% to get the original price?
Plus 20%. 20% to get the original. But wait, that's not coming out. Let's read it again.
Saying that the price of a product became $200 after they discounted it by 20%, meaning it was $200 plus 20% gives us the original price. Okay, that's how I've understood the term. I don't know if I'm correct, really.
Okay, it's 200 plus 20 over 100.
That's what I'm thinking. We get the original price.
Okay. So this one gives us how much?
$40.
Giving us 40. That's not proper. Okay, let's read again, no problem. The price of an item decreased by 20% to 20% to 200. So we need to know what was the original price before that. Then later the price decreased. From 200. The price decreased from 400 to 150. Then what percentage of decrease? What percentage of decrease from the original price to the final price of 150? Okay. Shortly, let me work it out.
So there was a
Okay.
Can we hear me?
Okay. Hi, I've got it. Let's start. First of all, we didn't know the discount value. So what we are going to do, we are going to do it like this. Cheyenne here. Right. So the 20% decrease to 200. First of all, we needed to know the exact money. We needed to know like that money that was whether it was a discount. I think we can call it like a discount, something like that. That price, let us call it like a discount. Or let the decrease, or let the decrease value be X, meaning it was X, but remove off a 20%, a 0.2 of X, okay, which is 20 over 100. And that gave us 200. It gave us 200. Now, after doing it like that, we now look for the value of X, which becomes now 0.8X, which is equal to 200. Through by 0.8, through by 0.8. What is 200 divided by 0.8? Somebody with a calculator?
200.
200 divided by
50.
So that means the original value is 250.
250.
Excuse me, how did you get the 0.8?
Now the 0.8, we made this to be X minus the decrease. Like we said that let that value before it was decreased be X.
Yes.
So X minus 0.2, like 0.2 is like the 20% of this X.
Yes.
0.2. So this is like a 1. X is represented by 1. 1 minus 0.2, it will be 0.8.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that means that the original price, the original price is 250. Now they're telling us that it is further decreased. It increased up to what?
From 200. From 200 to.
They say that, let me show you the screen so that we're able to see it well. They told us that it further decreased to, where is it? Further decreased from 200 to 150, meaning the further decrease is 150.
Discounted again.
Okay. up to 150.
Mm.
And I think that is a very question they're asking for.
150.
They are asking that now, what is the percentage of decrease from original price
to 150?
To 150, which is now, I think, much more clear. Great. So that implies that we shall get 250 minus 150, which gives us 100. Now, the percentage decrease now, it will be getting this difference, the 100, dividing it by the original, and then times what? Times 100. What's the value?
40.
So the answer is 40%. 40%. The decrease. All right. Now that you have captured that, let me also now take you through question number 13. Okay. 13 is telling you that a family had dinner in a restaurant and he paid $30 for food. They also had to pay 9.5% sales, a tax, and 10% for tip. How much did they pay for the dinner? Remember, the family had a dinner and they're paying $30. But in addition to the $30, they had to pay 9.5% of the sales tax. They had to pay 10% of the trip. Now they're asking for the total. So that one is very simple. That a family had a restaurant dinner that paid that money. But as they paid over that money, there are some other extra costs that they incurred. They incurred in addition to that. One of them was the VAT, which you already know. That one is incurred by what? By the person using the item. Then also the tip, maybe giving the restaurant manager or the waitress. Like many of you always do, you always motivate those young boys and girls. So he paid, see the 30, he paid the $30,000. Okay. In addition to that, in addition to this, he paid 10% still of the $30. Like in addition to the $30. Then also, the tax I think was 9% of still of that same money. Like in addition to that money, in addition to this money, they paid these percentages. Depending on what they ate, I don't know if it is coming out clear, that in addition to this, they paid extra 10% in top of this, and another 9%. This is tax, this is tip. So the question is asking, in total, how much did they eat, like spend? So that is 30. 10% of this. Somebody with a calculator kind of help us.
That's 3.
This is the 3. Then plus
2.85.
2.85. So in total, it becomes 35.85. So that's what they spent in the hotel. And this is practical. Many of you always do it. You buy some things, maybe the waitress brings back either 1,000 or 2,000. You're like, you remain with the money.
Remain with the balance.
In order to motivate those young people in those restaurants. All right. Now that we have also got that idea, okay, we can as well you can as well proceed to question 14. It's over there. Question 14. An item sells for $65. This price gives the seller a profit of 30%. Of the item cost C. What will be the new selling price if the seller reduces profits to 10% of the cost? Even campuses don't want such numbers, but they are manageable. We can manage it still. We can manage. Okay. So what we are going to do over there, first of all, we needed to know the original cost. We need to find out the original cost of the product. An item sells at 65%. This percentage gives the seller a profit of 30% of the item. Yes, please.
Right. Sorry.
All right. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to first, of course, get the total cost, all of it, the original cost, what is the total original cost of everything, before getting that profit. This is what we are going to do. Cool. So I need to remind you, I think this is question 1. I need to remind you that selling price is a combination of the cost you incurred and the markup or the margin, which we are calling the profit. But from the question, they're informing us that an item sells at 65, meaning in the point where there is a selling price, I'm going to put 65. I'll put 65 there. $65 equaling to. And we have been told that it makes profit of 30%. Good. What does it imply? That from the cost, it is a cost plus. There's an addition there. That from the cost that we don't know, in addition to this cost, he adds in 0.3 of the cost. This percentage, when he adds it on that cost he incurred, he gets the selling price. So we need to know the cost. So it is 65 equaling to cost plus 0.3 profit. Remember, this profit is just adding on the percentage of the cost. So this becomes 65 equaling to 1.3C divided by 1.3, 1.3. Like C is represented by 1. So this will go away. When you get 65 divided by 1.3, I think it gives us something like 50. So the original cost is equal to $50. So we can start from here to go back now to the question. What's the question asking for? Now, the question is asking that.
Andrew, I mean, at what did you get 1.3?
Now, 1.3, when you see C is represented 1 plus 0.3 of C. So C is represented by a 1 like this. It's like the other one we did, the white was having a what? The one we did the area. Like when it's there.
It was 10.
Okay. Now, after doing so, let us look at the question once again to see what they are asking for. They are saying that what is the new price? What is the new price? If the seller reduces profits to 10%, if the seller reduces to 10%, we need to know the new price. So this is now self-explanatory. If this is the cost, it's 50. Now, maybe somebody should mute. We are about to finish. Okay. Now, what we are going to do next here, we are now going to look for the new profit. By the new profit, we are going to look for is we are going to use 10% instead of 30%. Okay. That means the new profit, the percentage, remember, it is 10% when we are decreasing the cost to 10%. Okay, let me try to bring it out. Now, for us to find the new selling price with the profit, this one, 10%, that one you're seeing over there, we have to first calculate for the new profit and add it to the new and add it to the original cost. We need to first calculate the profit and add it to the original cost. As simple as that. How are we going to do it? We are going to say new profit will equal to this percentage 0.1, and we shall multiply it by original what? Original cost, so that we are able to get to know the kind of profits. So this will be 0.1, and the original cost, remember, is 50 times 50. So that implies that the new profit is 5. Now, if the new profit is 5, what can be our new selling price? It means that our new selling price using the formula we already know, which is equal to cost plus profit. It now becomes easier. So the cost here is now, it is 50, which we got already, plus the profit you have got, which is 5. Therefore, the new price is $55. Unless you have a special question over that.
Yes, Andrew.
Yes.
Your explanation makes sense, but I'm understanding it, but at the same time, I'm not understanding it. Why is it like that? When they say I sell a product at 65% and I get a profit of 30%, meaning, of course, the cost price and the profit is within that 65%.
Yeah, that is our
So
first formula.
don't you, so it is 0.3% of profit of the, so don't you just do 65, 60, like 30% of 65? Can't we do it like that? I don't know.
Like you want, like we get
For
30%
instance,
of
the
65.
30%, because the 30% is within the 65, which is the selling price. So
Yes.
what is the 30% of $65 to give us the right profit?
But remember
I
that
don't know.
65 is selling price.
Yes, and the selling price has both the cost price and the profit, which is 30%. So if I remove the 30% first from the 65 and I get what the 30% represents in 65, which will probably be like $19.5, and then I subtract that $19.5 from the 65 to get the cost price that has no profit. Would that work also? Though it would give us different values anyway.
No, it won't work. Our aim here, we want first of all to find out what was our original cost even before anything takes place.
Yeah, even before the profit.
Yeah, before the profit, we have to first go back to our formula. Like it's what you even do in your normal businesses. You get the cost and add on what? Add on profits. Then you get the selling price. Because it's already communicated to us. But now the question is, what is going to be the new selling price if the profit is being decreased by 10%? By 10%. It implies that when we already know the cost, it's
the
now
cost.
easy. We need to know now what's going to be our new value for profit. Like our new value for profit in terms of value, not percentage. Remember, we've been given the percentage. Now we have to look for the value in a value form, like the money.
Yes.
So we just need to look for the original cost, multiply it by the percentage of the new profit that has been given to us. Then we get the new profit value, not percentage, but the new profit value.
Oh, so you don't add the new profit. To get the new profit, you don't add, you multiply the percentage with the original cost.
With the original cost, so that we get to know the new value of the new value in form of profit. Now that new value we get in form of profits is now that 5 represent the 10% profit. When we go back now to our formula, that selling price
basically the new profit is $5 at 10%.
$5, yes, at 10%. This one.
Yes.
So when you get to that one, it's now what you add from the former original value, and then you get the new selling price. As a result of decreasing new profit or a decrease of profit. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'll get it when I keep reading.
Don't worry.
I have a different formula in my head, though it was giving us different values, like by either less by 0.5%. I know less by $0.5 or more by $0.5.
No, that wouldn't be that would be different. Here we're doing in the percentages.
Okay.
I'm sure by next week when we are doing our other papers, you will be almost there. Almost there.
Yes.
Okay, let's proceed. We have now 11 minutes to go. 21 minutes to go. Let's look at another part of the question. Now, 15. An error of 2% in excess is made while measuring the side of a square. Is made while measuring the side of a square. The percentage error in the calculated area of the square is okay.
Okay.
Now, this is what we are going to do. We know a square. A square looks like this. In this format, which we already know. This is 15. So that is a square that we are talking about. But they have informed us that, when we go back to our question, they have informed us that an error of 2% in excess is made in the side of a square. Straightforward. If this was x, 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 it implies that in addition to x, there has been an addition of 2% in the side. So this is incorrect. Call it incorrect side. Incorrect side. Incorrect. Remember, square, this has to be equal to that, and that has to be equal to that. Now, the incorrect side, if it's x, it is x plus 2%. How about the correct side? How about the correct side? Now, the correct side, it's okay. It's just 2. It's this. But remember, it is this. It's a double. The correct side. Even the incorrect side, if this has a mistake, it means also this one will have a what? Will have a mistake. Let me try to put it down. So this one here, it will be twice. Even this one here, it will be twice. The one which is correct, there will be 2. And the ones that are incorrect, there will be 2. So in this case, hope I'm interpreting properly. In this case, the incorrect side, this one here, it is the same like x plus 0.02x, 0.2. Let me put it properly. 0.2x.
Isn't it 2x?
It is 2x. Then this one, it will be the 0.2 times the 2, I think, which gives us 2x plus 0.04, but also x. Now that implies that Just a minute. The incorrect side has to be x plus an addition of 2%. Plus an addition of 2%. Let me interpret it properly. This is a square. Now, under this square, this and this, that and that, they must be equal. What's here has to be there. What's there has to be there. Now, the incorrect side. The incorrect side assuming if all these sides are 1, let me say like it's x, 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 x. Now, the incorrect side, it means that x of the incorrect side, it has that x plus the 0.02 x, like there would be error. I can call it, maybe there would be error. Okay, so that implies that this x, the same as 1 plus 0.02, but in bracket, x can go out. So this one, it will be a 1.02 of x. So this is for incorrect side. Now for correct side, doesn't have any issue. For the correct side x, it's okay. They are okay. These correct sides, they are okay. But remember, they are what? They are twice. They are 2. There are 2 that are what? That are correct. Okay. Now the question was asking that an error is made in 2% of an excess made while measuring the side of a square. Now the percentage error made is how much, like error made in the calculation of the same square is how much. So they just want to know the differences of these 2 together. Okay. So the correct side, we can call it as 2x, 2x, or just x, like x2, because they are 2. So the error now, let's look at the error is the difference between the 2 values. The 1.0.
I can't see the board.
Sorry. Remember, this is for the incorrect side, and remember it is just one side, but we have to multiply it by 2 sides. Like they have to be 2 sides, and then the other, and the x, which is okay, has also to be 2 x's, because for them they are okay.
Fine.
So this one, it will be 2.04 x. Then this one to be only 2. Like I'm getting 2 times the 1 point something. It will give us this. So we just need to get the error, the differences in the error made. We just get the difference between that and that. So in this case, In this case, it is 2x minus 2.04x, like the difference between, eh? So when we get this, I think we get 0.04, like a 2x minus, like just the difference. You don't need to mind whether it is a negative or positive. You just need a difference between the two. So 2.04 minus 2x will remain with 0.04. We just need a difference. You don't need to worry whether it is what? It is negative, but just the difference. Remember, this is in decimals. So when you multiply it by 100, it becomes a percentage. So it becomes a 4%. I don't know if someone has tried to grasp it in an easier way. Then you share with us.
Excuse me, before that.
May I share my version of? I've just understood it in just the basic English way of understanding without the math, because the question that when they were measuring a square, which is supposed to have equal sides, all four sides are supposed to be equal, but when they are measuring one side of the square, they made an error of 2%. Yeah, that is one part of the question, that when they were measuring one side of the square, they made an error of 2%. So, and then they're asking us, when in the calculation of the total area of the square, what percentage error did they make? What is the total percentage error in the area of the square? Because we know that area of a square is equal to all sides. Okay. Yes, all sides of the square which are equal. So if two sides of the square are not equal, but there was a 2% error made on one of those sides, that means 2% up and 2% down, which is 4. Like I understood it in just that simplicity of, if they made a 2% error in one side of the square, then that means even below the other side, the opposite side, they made the same 2% error. So when they are calculating the area of the entire square, there is a 4% error calculation in there.
Yeah, you see, you can get it right. I don't know. Do you have any other person who has got it differently? But that is it. As long as we're able to understand it, grasp it, yeah. That's the NB. We have different ideas, but at the end of the day, the solution has to be the same. Okay. Now, in the remaining 6 minutes, what can we do in the remaining 6 minutes?
And I have a question.
Yes, ask.
How many questions does this paper have?
That's a very good question. This paper has so many questions. You will see between 14 to 19 pages. It moves like this English passage. So there are like so many questions. So many. They're like 120.
And it's marked out of 100 or 120?
Converted it to 100. Because look, it has those 40 of our English.
So there is math.
There is math. There is management science. Yeah. Management science and current affairs. But here we shall be rushing because many people have ideas already. Then there is the sentence correction. It has like 120 numbers.
And then what's
yes,
the
please?
duration? What's the duration?
The duration is over there. It is for 3 hours. 3 hours, you need. But see, I recommend that you make excessive practice so that you manage, because this time around the applications are going to be so many. They might even shortlist around 600 because the way they're extending the deadline every day. I think they have a target of raising money that they haven't got.
Is it that people are not applying, or why are they?
Now the problem is in paying. The system has always been down. Like you apply, but you reach on making payment, and it's not working out. Yeah.
So
So
they've
they
not yet
added
made that money that they want to.
Then it's also a business, but make sure at least you bypass there whatever. Now out of 600, they need 250.
Wow.
So to be among the 250, it's not like you just walk in. Now those people who walk in just think at Ebasomie, those ones they're like 5% who make it. They're always there, who just come in and sit and circle without, contextualizing. But when you make practice, things work out. At least I happened to train one of the last year's candidates. She got 79, meaning the paper was hard. She got 79, but the energy was too much, like she put in. So your responsibility is to know all the numbers in all the 4 past papers, all the 5 past papers that are around. I think they're going to be 4 or 5. Because some questions are repetitive. Yes. So for you, don't wait for the shortlist. Start now, cutting numbers so that you be part of the 250 number. Okay. Now, members, allow me. On today is Monday. On Wednesday, we are going to finish all those numbers that remain, and even this month here. But on that day, we're going to use a bit of speed because I want we finish this paper. The English part of it is going to be manageable. So expect some speed. We are going to start. Yes, please.
Could you maybe also share the paper so we could be practicing? So
Yes,
that
I'm going to share. I'm
it's
going to
more.
share with you. Just send a message and then I share with you. Now.
Oh, Andrew, so I have to send you a WhatsApp to ask for the paper, eh?
Yes.
Okay, Carla.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So
Did you also
on
mention
Wednesday,
the possible answers?
I also have them, but I need to first check them out. Then I'll give you still.
Okay.
So on Wednesday, I want us to prepare our minds very well. We are going to increase the speed because I want us to finish this paper such that on Friday and Saturday, we also do a second paper. Then the other week, we do the 3rd paper and the 4th paper. Then the other week, we finish. So those are around 10 times or 8 times we have organized. After those 8 times, you're going to be ready, much more ready for you to be able to manage. And for now, thank you for attending. Let's meet again on Wednesday. Let me share with you all this. Good night.
Carla, thank you so much, Andrew, for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.